So we're starting it now. And this week we are starting a brand new unit in listening and learning. It's titled Taking Care of the Earth. I want you to look at this picture. Who can describe what we see? What are we looking at right here? What are we looking at? Ryan, what are we looking at?
We see the ocean. We see some white clouds. We see some land.
Okay, what do we call this big ball that's made up of ocean, land, and sky?
Earth.
Earth. We see the planet Earth. Very good, Ryan. For the next few weeks, we're going to learn about Earth and how we live on the Earth and how we can help take care of the Earth. We live in Oak Ridge, North Carolina. It's located here, basically, if you look at the Earth. This is where we live. What are some places that your relatives live? And let's see if we can find that on our Earth. Who could name some places? Anya?
India.
In India, okay. So India would be over here on this side of our Earth. Janyan.
Pacific.
Pacific. The Pacific Ocean is over here. Are we?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, that's just below us right here. You have relatives there. Okay, so all the people and places we have mentioned.
Miss Kate?
No, we got to raise our hands. So all the people in different places we have mentioned, as well as plants and animals, all live on this planet, Earth. Because they all live on Earth together, we need to take care of the Earth together to keep it clean and healthy. What happens if you play in a mud puddle? What's going to happen if you play in a mud puddle? Carolyn?
I can answer it, but I have a question.
What's your question?
I will splash the mud everywhere.
You would get dirty, right?
And I can tell you name is
I'll come back to you, sweetie. We got to move on. Okay, so after you play in that mud puddle and you get all dirty, what are you going to need to do next? Estelle?
take a tubby or a bathy.
Take a bath. Very good. To clean up. It's the same with the Earth. If the Earth becomes dirty, it needs to be cleaned up. In our story today, we're going to have a special guest. Their name is Good Old Earth. They'll be joining you for the lesson in this domain. Good Old Earth will be the narrator of the read-alouds. And when I put on this Earth hat, that means I'm not Miss Cates anymore. I am Good Old Earth. Do you remember when we did this with the farm unit and I turned into Old MacDonald? That's what's going to happen here. We're going to have a narrator, the person telling the story, except the person telling the story is going to be Good Old Earth. Can the Earth really talk and tell us a story? No. Why can't the Earth really talk? Why is that? Anya?
Because it's not a person.
Right. It's not a person. It's a thing.
Animal.
That would be make-believe. Okay, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to use our imaginations and pretend that the earth is actually able to talk to you. Let's take a look here. This is called a KWL chart. This column has a K for I know. Here, we're going to list facts that we know about the earth. Who can raise their hand and tell me some facts that you know about the earth? Russell, what's a fact that you know about the earth?
It's round like a basketball.
It's round. Excellent. So I'm going to write the word round. Awesome. What else do we know about the earth? Nicole?
That is not that many land. It has a lot of water.
So it's made up of land and water and air?
Yeah.
Okay. It's made of land, water, and air. It's made of land, water, and air. Okay. Janya, what else do you know about? Oh,
of water on Earth.
what is it, Russell?
20% of water.
The earth is made up of 50% of water. Okay. I wonder if we'll find some information in our story that supports that. Janya, what's a fact that you know about Earth?
The Earth is a thing.
It's a thing. Okay. What do we call that thing? There's a bunch of them that are around. Do we call it a planet?
Planet.
Yeah, a planet. And you're right, it's also a sphere. But I'm going to write planet. The Earth is a planet. Okay. Now, let's look here. This column is called the W, I wonder. These are things that we don't already know about the Earth, but we wonder. We wonder about these things. These are things we wonder about. So, what do you wonder? Anya.
What happens to trees when they're cut down after a long time? What happens to them?
Okay, what happens to trees when they're cut down? Basically, that's your question? Okay. What happens, to trees when cut down? What happens to trees when they're cut down? Okay. Who else has a question? Landon, what is some information that you want to learn?
I want to learn what happens when football players play in the NFL.
That's a great question, but what about planet Earth? Is there something you want to learn about planet Earth that you don't already know?
I think, how do leaves grow on trees?
Okay, very good. how do plants grow? We'll just make it a big general. How do plants grow? How do plants grow? And I could maybe take one more question. Ryan?
What is the earth mainly made of?
What is Earth made of? That's a really good question. What is the Earth made of? What is the Earth made of? Okay, let's see. Maybe if I draw a line to kind of separate these, we can see them better. Let's take a look at what we know. So we wrote down, I know the Earth is round. I know the Earth is made of land, water, and air. I know Earth is a planet. I wonder what happens to trees when they're cut down. How do plants grow, and what is the Earth made of? At the end of the lesson, we're going to come back and see if we can fill in what we've learned. Okay, here's some vocabulary terms you're going to hear in the story. Take care of. Good old Earth will teach us how to take care of him. When you take care of something or someone, you pay attention to that thing or person to make sure that thing or person is doing okay. Jenna's big sister takes care of her younger brothers and sisters every Saturday morning. She needs to make sure they eat their breakfast. Then she takes them to the park and makes sure they are safe. The next word we're going to talk about is surface. Surface. People have built many things such as farms, homes, and roads on the surface of the earth. It's hard to tell in this picture. Let me turn out one of the lights. But in this picture, you can see the surface of the earth. The surface of the earth is the top part or top layer of something. Benita and Celine used a shovel to spread more dirt on the surface of the soil to plant their seeds. Okay. Listen and learn carefully about 3 things the earth is made of. That's going to answer one of our questions. So we're going to listen carefully to find out what 3 things the earth is made of. So let me get my hat, and I'm going to turn into my character, the narrator. Okay. Hello, wonderful children. In Miss Kate's class, it's me, Earth. Some people call me the world. Some people call me the planet or planet Earth. And some people even call me Mother Earth. But you can just call me good old Earth. This is what I look like from outer space, far, far away where the moon, stars, and sun are. From outer space, I look pretty small. As you can see, I'm mostly blue. That's because I'm mostly covered with water. But you can also see lots of green and brown. Those are the colors of the land where the people live. And do you see some white stuff? Those are are the clouds floating around in my air. You cannot see air, but it's there. I'm made up of those three things: land, water, and air. I've been here a long time, and I've seen people do so many amazing things on my surface or my outer layer of land. I'm like the nice farms and little towns you have built on the surface. I like the great big cities you built on my surface too. And I don't mind the roads you've built over me. I love to feel your boats floating in my water and your airplanes zooming through my skies. They tickle. Oops. Most of all, I like you kids. I like to feel your little feet running around. I like to hear you laughing, and I like to see you enjoying and appreciating all the beautiful places on my surface. Let's take a look at some of the places on my surface together. We'll start with my land. People live on land, but you're not the only creatures or living things that live here. All living things need to share the land with each other. Many things grow on my land. Do you appreciate the flowers, grass, and trees that grow on my surface? They're not only pretty, they're also important for the creatures that depend on them to survive or stay alive. See, there are the pretty trees and plants, but there's also beautiful creatures.
And I think there's a rabbit.
That live on our land as well. The birds depend on the trees for a place to build their nest. The bees depend on the nectar from the flowers for food. The deer depend on the grass for a place to rest. And humans depend on the trees for oxygen or fresh air. Living things depend on my land to survive and live. Here is my water. My water is nice to look at, and I hope you appreciate its beauty and all the fun things you can do in my water, like sail a boat and swim. But did you know that many things depend on my water too? Many plants and creatures such as fish, dolphins, turtles, and starfish depend on my waters for a home. Also, people depend on my water to drink. Can you imagine going one day without drinking my water? How would you feel if you couldn't drink water for a day? Jonyan?
Thirsty.
Very thirsty, right? Water is good for us, and it helps to quench our thirst, and it's good for our body to give it what it needs. Here's a photo of clouds floating in my air. This is the air all around you. All living creatures depend on my air to live. There's something called oxygen in the air, which your body needs to breathe in to stay alive. You'll want to listen very carefully when I tell you about keeping my air clean. After all, air is what you breathe every few seconds, every single day. Take a deep breath. That is the air that we're breathing in and out. Even though you cannot see the air, it is always there. I hope you appreciate what you've seen of my land, water, and air so far. And I hope you enjoy living on me. Every morning when you wake up and see the sunrise, I hope you think, great, it's the start of another wonderful day on beautiful Earth. Okay. As you can see, I was made to take care of you in so many ways with my land, water, and air. But did you know that I depend on you to take care of me too? You kids can really help and make sure that grown-ups help as well to make sure my land, water, and air stay clean. I'm asking for your help because people are the most intelligent or smartest creatures on Earth. You're the ones who built big cities and invented cars, computers, and airplanes. You make medicines for people and animals. You have schools, libraries, and hospitals. You can do many, many things that no other living creature here on Earth can do. So I am giving you and the adults caring for you the responsibility or job of taking care of me. Good old Earth. I hope you will listen carefully to me for the next couple of weeks as I share about how I was made to take care of you and give you ideas of how to take care of me. All right. Very good. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Smriti, you have your hand up. What's your question?
How do the clouds stay there?
The clouds float around the earth. Cloud is made up of moisture and air. So water droplets and air. Okay, who is the narrator or the person who's talking in the read aloud? Who's the narrator? Let's see. Carolyn, who's the narrator?
The Earth.
Earth.
Good old Earth.
Good old Earth is the narrator. Very good. Can Earth talk in real life? Nicole, can Earth talk in real life?
I also have a question.
Well, hold on. What should you, hold on. What should you be using when you listen to good old Earth talk? You use your imagination, right? The Earth doesn't really talk, but we use our imagination when we're listening to these stories to pretend like the Earth is talking to us because it's telling us important information. What are some things that good old Earth tells you he likes? What are some things that good old Earth likes? Landon.
The people on Earth.
That's right. He said he loves the people on Earth, especially children. Ryan, what are some other things that he likes?
He likes to feel a toe of feet.
Yeah. And it also said he likes the farms and the towns and big cities. And he likes the way the boats feel on his water and how the airplanes feel in the sky. What are some other names for Earth that people like to call Earth? What are some other names that people call Earth? Estelle?
The planet.
A planet, very good. Or Mother Earth. What are the 3 things that make up Earth? There are 3 things. What are they? Russell, what are the 3 things that make up Earth?
Air, land, and water.
Very good. Air, land, and water. Why does good old Earth want people to take care of him? Why does good old Earth want people to take care of him? Jonyan?
Because he can't take care of himself.
Right, he can take care of us, but in order for him to do that, we also need to take care of him. Okay, let's go back to our KWL chart and talk about what we have learned. Who can tell me one thing that you learned from this lesson? Landon?
The earth is made of water, air, and the
And land, right?
yes, water, air, and land.
Very good. And we actually knew that before we read, but we confirmed it in our story. Water, let me see if I can get this writing. Water, air. See, I'm putting a comma because I'm listing 3 things. And land. What else did we learn in our read aloud? What else did we learn? Carolyn?
We learned
What about the thing that we breathe? Do you remember what that's called that the earth gives us? Oxygen. Oxygen. So we learned that people need oxygen. See if I can try to write this. To breathe. Without oxygen, we can't breathe. So if we don't take care of our air, we're not going to be able to breathe in it. Let's read this one last time. Our KWL chart. I know the earth is round and it's made of land, water, and air. And another name for the earth is the planet. I wonder what happens to trees when they're cut down. Well, we just learned in our story that trees are what gives us oxygen. So if we cut down all of our trees, would we have oxygen to breathe? Nope, that's serious. How do plants grow? They didn't really answer that question in this read aloud, but maybe in other read alouds it will. And what is the earth made of? Well, we answered that. The earth is made of water. Oh, I put R instead of air. That's silly. Here, we'll scratch that out and I'll put an I for air.
Because I is made of velocity.
Water, air, and land. Don't interrupt, Nicole. People need oxygen to breathe. That was another big thing that we learned in this read aloud. Very good. Well, I look forward to learning more information with you and good old air about our earth and how to keep it clean. All right. Are we? Do you have a question?